ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Monday, September 8th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, is open. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. How'd your weekend go? We got past Saturday. Thundering Herd lost. For those of you that maybe just checking in for the first time in a few days, the Thundering Herd lost to Missouri State 21-20. We're going to hear a little bit from Coach Gibson. He spoke with the media earlier today on the coach's call. We'll get his thoughts, last thoughts, I'm sure, on the loss and what needs to happen moving ahead. And of course, we're going to hear plenty from you. And again, that text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Hey, my Bengals won. That was nice. Sunday helped. Saturday, we did not leave in a good place. Sunday, at least for me, the Bengals won, beat the Browns. I'm happy. 1-0, off to a quick start. Here we go, Cincinnati Bengals. I've got the orange Nikes on today as well. I'm going to be celebrating all week. It's very rare that I get a opening day victory out of the Cincinnati Bengals. So that was nice for my Saturday. I don't know how yours went, but I'm sorry, your Sunday. It feels like, for the most part, football was very, very bad with that game on Saturday. Sunday, if you're a Steelers fan, it's all right too. So we've got a lot of things to look forward to. Coming up today on the program, we've got a big one coming up this week as WVU comes to town to take on Marshall in women's soccer. And Rafa Simoes joins us in a few minutes. We're going to talk about the match on Thursday. It's only the second time that WVU has played in Huntington. Now, it's a very limited series, only 4 meetings all time, and WVU has taken all of them. The last time these two teams met was on September 5th, 2011. So it's been a long time since these two teams met, and Marshall lost that one 3-0. So there's a lot at stake here, as the Thundering Herd right now trying to continue what's been an impressive run at this point in the early part of the season. Only one true blemish on the schedule. Everything else has looked really good for the Herd. So that's coming up in the next few minutes. And then, of course, we're going to hear from Coach Gibson. I want to jump to the text line early since we've got Rafa coming up in the next few minutes. I want to give you a chance to jump in now. We got a lot to get into with the text line. There are some people who are needing to vent. Let's go. First up, texter says, Paul, I am okay with Saturday. I don't know why, but I am. I didn't like the third down call for sure, or the blown coverages that would have been worse if not for the PI against them. That's pass interference for those of you that maybe don't know. Texter says, I never seen a game where the offense gets called for 3. Gibson's a new coach. The team is a brand new team. They all have to learn how to win and gel together. Win the next 2, then be ready for conference play. We have to have a starting quarterback, though, by the start of conference play. Texter says, I am mad at the fans. Let me start that over again. Texter says he is mad at the fans. I am mad at the fans for, as always, leaving at the half and the stadium looking run down, as I've said before. Last thing. Get rid of the green helmets. We were terrible with them during Snyder, and even though they look good, they're jinxed. Appreciate the text. I like the green helmets. If the trend continues, then I say burn them, but no, I do like the green helmets. So, fans, what do you say to that? You've been called out. Did you leave at halftime? I mean, it was a close game. It was competitive. It went down to the final moments, right? I mean, game was always in doubt until the whistle blew and said game over. So are you one of those fans that left and you got called out, or are you one of those fans that get mad at the other fans for leaving? I'll entertain that today. Texture says, Paul, my younger brother Matt played Little League football for Ona, where Cabell Midland is now. Milton, Barbersville, Huntington, Matt's Ona's team was the best. On November 14th, 1970, we and some regional teams traveled to Knoxville, Tennessee to play them. and Matt's Ona team did just that. We won. We were riding on the way home, but the weather got bad, heavy pouring rain. In Kentucky, police cars and ambulance were, I think he says, were crossing to West Virginia, and ambulances were coming westbound as soon as we got home. Uncle David called, and the Marshall plane crash devastated us. To this day, it makes my heart hurt. Appreciate the text. Yes, absolutely. For a lot of people, it's just like yesterday. And, of course, we'll get closer to the ceremony. And, again, that's always a great time for people to kind of remember, reflect, and a lot of healing still going on. All right, let's get back to the text line before we got to go to the break. Texter says, Paul, an RPO pass play to the end zone on 3rd and 1 at the end of the game? A terrible fake punt play? The quarterback who won the job coming out of camp doesn't get a rep to see what he looks like against a fellow G5 school instead of Georgia? We have big coaching problems already. Appreciate the text. Also, let's see. One more question from the texter asking, why do they play music at ear-splitting volume at the stadium? It's a good question. I think part of that maybe is it's game one, and so if someone who maybe hasn't been on the board in a while, doesn't have a kind of good feel for, okay, what volume level is going to be best for the stadium, what it should be. I mean, that's something that that's an easy fix. I get that. I did get a lot of complaints about that. So to be fair, I was inside. The glass was kind of shielding me from a lot of that. So it didn't seem that overwhelming to me. But then again, I do have a place where I'm inside, and it's always it's a privilege to sit where I'm sitting, but I don't sometimes hear what you're hearing. So that's a good question. Hopefully we can get that addressed for you in the future. Let's turn our attention now to women's soccer when we continue. And we're going to hear from Coach Gibson later on, football. He spoke earlier today on the conference call. But when we continue, we're going to bring in Marshall women's soccer coach Rafa Simoes. Big matchup coming up. The Mountaineers coming to Huntington. It's going to be a fun night on Thursday, Marshall and WVU. And the game is also going to be a green out for those of you attending. It is a green out. So we'll hear from Rafa when we continue on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's time to get in the game with your hometown Chevy's Drive to Victory sales event. Our MVP is the Hometown Advantage. That's a 10-year, 150,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on all new and most pre-owned inventory. And don't forget about the Dynamic Duo. Interest rates as low as 2.9% and up to 90 days before your first payment's due. So come see us in Waverly or visit us online at yourhometownchevy.com to start your drive to victory today.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year for March basketball. Frank's has you covered from the Sun Belt to the SEC, NBA to the MLB. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Summer's winding down, your lawn's slowing up, and the leaves, they're already starting to drop. Robert's Lawn and Landscaping doesn't miss a beat. From final cuts to full fall cleanups, fresh mulch and winter prep, they've got your yard handled before the seasons change. Reliable, local, ready for what's next. Lock in your fall services now with Robert's Lawn and Landscaping. Visit robertslawn.com. Robert's Lawn and Landscaping, where every season starts strong, reliable, local, and ready for what's next.
Get ready, Ashland. Ashland Tomcats football season is here. The legendary Dickie Martin will bring you all of the exciting play-by-play action on your new home for Tomcats football. 97-9 The River. The Tomcats are back at home this Friday, matching up against East Jessamine. Ashland Tomcats football on 97.9 The River is sponsored by Kentucky Farmers Bank, McLeod's Body Shop, Community Trust Bank, and Putnam Restoration. Ashland Tomcats football from Kindred Communications.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
I'm Naheem Hines, professional football player and proud supporter of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. My mom was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy when I was 14, and I watched her struggle. But MDA helped her get the best treatments and care, and they also help kids like my buddy Ethan.
My name is Ethan. Thanks to the Muscular Dystrophy Association and people like you, I have more hope than ever before. From day one, they've treated me like family at my local care center. MDA is the only one that funds over 150 care centers across the U.S. to help provide state-of-the-art care for adults and kids like me.
MDA has been transforming the lives of people living with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and other related neuromuscular diseases. They fund the research for breakthrough treatments, care, and cures. And MDA provides support to thousands of families like mine and Ethan's in communities like yours. Thanks to MDA, kids and adults can live life to its fullest. Join us and learn more at mda.org today.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We're going to jump back in the text line in just a few minutes at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I'm also giving you an opportunity today to win a pair of tickets to go see the Herd on Saturday take on EKU. Hopefully you've got your tickets by now. We've got a good one coming up on Thursday. Marshall Thundering Herd taking on the West Virginia Mountaineers. The Herd off to a great start. West Virginia always solid as well. And to tell us more about the matchup is the head coach of the Marshall women's soccer team. Rafa, congratulations. Great start so far and welcome.
Thanks so much, man. Glad to have me in this program, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, always welcome. I'm excited for you as well. First of all, I haven't had a chance to congratulate you. Your first child was born on July 11th, so you are a new father, Anastasia Rosario. So congratulations, and I'm sure that's been a whole new experience. I don't know, does coaching prepare you for that?
Coaching doesn't prepare you for that. Anastasia, she's everything, man. My wife, Becca, she's been the hero. She's been holding the fort so I can focus on soccer. And I'm just blessed to have her in my life, man. But she's everything.
So you have now turned your attention from being a brand new parent to getting set for a matchup between Marshall and West Virginia. Last time these two teams met was back on 2011. And so it's a very limited series. And I know you've probably had this on the calendar circled for a while. You have to play them one at a time, but this is probably one that's really special for you and the team.
Yeah, no, I mean, what Crease on the men's side and Stretch create the Derby State game, you know, I feel when I got the job here, coming from the men's and have the synergy. My associate head coach Ross, he coached on WVU, and I was able to bring him here. We played together at Charleston. So he know Coach Nikki, and Coach Nikki is just a pioneer in the game. She's a massive developer of the game in West Virginia, and she wanted to do the game. And I know the last time they came here was 1999, and I was glad that she did a game series with me. We did a spring game series when we went there, and she'll come the next spring. And we're doing a fall game series when she's coming here now, and we'll go next fall. And we're going to create that to hopefully put the Derby State back And for us, it's exciting. We hope to be the biggest crowd this program ever had. The biggest crowd this program had was 1,400, so we're hoping to put more than that and make the biggest crowd ever. The last time they played in Huntington was 1999, so almost 30 years. And we're just really excited. Like I said, it's been a while. They're excited with it. I know media is promoting, and the players are excited. And I think that's what wants me to be coach of soccer is coaching big games and big stages, and this game gives you that.
Big game, obviously, and it means more because you're off to a great start. They're off to a good start as well. What's been the focus for you trying to get to this quick start? And you look at your team, there's not one single person you can look to and say, this is the person that makes the team go. How happy have you been able to watch so many different weapons take advantage of the other team so far? I mean, you're spreading it out really well.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, that was the goal. I think since day one, we talk about internal competition and application of the methodology. And we have players now that on Marshall 2.0, that's their second year. They're adapted to the culture. They know how we play, the game philosophy. They like to be called girls from Huntington. A lot of them are very attached to the community. There was players that could have left to go somewhere and make more money, but they decided to be loyal to Marshall because they embrace the community and the community embraced them. So we know the more we give and the more we win, the community becomes even stronger. And they're feeling that. Now, about that, it's a good problem to have as a coach because I almost have 2 players for each position, and we got to go day by day and training by training. And sometimes you have the team that is not starting beat the team that is starting because you have 7, 8 players that could start, trying to show us why they should start. So I love this problem for us. And yes, I'm just blessed to have that problem.
You don't have a problem with the keeper. So far, Emma's been fantastic. Emma Duran, she has been solid for you. What is it about her that's been really a force to be reckoned with for you?
Last year, Alexis was the starter, and Emma have to respect her time. Emma wasn't ready yet. Emma kind of grew in her role, and now I have her and Alexis. Alexis is already on the record book for the program for a lot of things, and she still has a season to finish. And Emma Duran is there, so it's a big dog fight that we say. It's really hard. Sometimes there are details why one should start. But I think because they have the competition, each one of them are making them improve. But Emma Duran's been so far playing more. But the last game we have canceled against Fairmont State, Alexis was playing until the game got canceled to the weather. But it's the same thing I told you before, is internal competition. And I know I have 2 really good goalkeepers, and I even have Katie McCutcheon, the third goalie, we know she's the future as well. So it's just an exciting time on the goalkeeper line for Marshall.
Joining us on the program is the head coach of the Marshall women's soccer team, Rafa Simoes. Rafa, talk to me a little bit about Bailey Fisher. She has really been creative out there, and it feels like if you had to put the leader of the team on someone, she might be the one you would point to first. Is that fair?
I mean, she definitely called attention. I was a striker, and I admire her playing as a striker. She can hit the ball with the right and the left. She has a rocket on both feet. She's mentally tough. I know her from the youth academy days, so I coached her when she was young, and she does nursing on top of that, which I don't know how she balances being a student athlete, but plus doing the nursing shift, for her major. I think she's a powerful woman that will succeed in the field and off the field. Now, she played this summer with Lexington, which they have a team for the pros, so I know she was playing for the summer team, and they already look at her. She's a player that we wouldn't be surprised if she'd be calling for the pros. She's another player that's already on the all-time records for Marshall in a lot of stats, on the top 10s and things like that. I'm just glad to have a striker for her, and it'll be really hard to replace when she's gone. She's a new state hero. She holds the high school goals record. She's just a setting goal achiever, man, and I'm just proud to have her in my team.
Who else stands out for you? Maybe a name that we're not talking about, or someone that surprised you. So I'll give you an opportunity. Maybe you can brag on a couple. There's so many. I don't know where you start, but who would you brag on right now?
I mean, you have Kaiser Ekstrom on the back line that is a center back that has the profile to go pro. You have Angel Fowler in the back that as well has the same profile as a tall center back, good in the air, good distribution, and has all the profile as they look to go to the pro. You have Luisa Travassos that, man, she can cover 14 kilometers in a game. That's more than an average in the pro, so she's a player that is ready to make the jump as well. We have Giovanna Souza, there's a freshman that got Player of the Week. And it's been, I think, 2 years that Marshall didn't have a Player of the Week in the summer, and she was a winger that was able to get that. You have Fernanda on the fullback that is growing. First year, she adapted to the game coming from a different game in Brazil, and now she's adapted to the game. She played this summer for my semi-pro team, and she's ready. She's sharp on the set pieces. We have a lot of players, man, and that's a good trouble. Like, I don't want to mention all because I'm probably going to forget one, but these are just a couple of them that can really, you can be really seeing them going on the pro after the season. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, you know.
It's a good problem to have more players than you can mention. That's a great problem, and you know that was probably that was deliberate on your part to go out and really make this team competitive. You're out to an outstanding start. When you look at this start, are you surprised by this start? Are you ahead of schedule for where you thought you might be, or is this right where you thought it would be after you got started with this team?
I mean, it's hard to track the spring, but we finished the spring undefeated, and we went to Morgantown. We tied with WVU, and that was the first time in program history, and we tied in Morgantown. And I thought those games start showing them that when you put a game against WVU, that is a team from a top conference, they're so intense, they're so well coached, they're so traditional, and you put a game like that, you start seeing that you can go and compete on the higher shelf. Of course, we're going with our feet on the ground, but we're shooting high. We believe that we can do it, but we know that the non-conference is something and the conference is something. So WV is the last chapter before we go into the conference on Sunday on Georgia Southern. So we really focus on just having a good overall season, you know. But it's something we were expecting. But like in the spring, they really, when nobody was watching, we were putting the work, we were setting goals, and we were achieving them, and we make sure we were progressing under our game model. So I'm just proud coach to make sure we got the results, because you can't control performance, but it's hard to control results. But I'm really proud coach right now, man. That was a really great question.
My guest is the head coach of the Marshall women's soccer team, Rafa Simoes. Rafa, the game itself, I know it should be just another game. And going back to when we started, you know, this is a big event for the state of West Virginia. Only 4 other times that these two teams met. This is only the second time that Marshall has hosted West Virginia. How do you keep the focus on the game and not the pomp and circumstance that surround the opponent and the game?
We treat every game as the coming game as the most important. So now this is the most important thing, and when the game is done, the next game will be the most important thing, and how can we shift focus? But it's hard to say, because when you go out on the streets, now everybody's talking about the game. Everybody, like, the traction I've been getting this week is more than normal. The players are feeling that. And it's good, because I told them, like, that's a game that is like a pro game for us, you know. And this year we've been able to get the first win against Ohio, the first win against Rice State. We were so close to get the first win program against Murray State. Was for some details. And we're looking to keep writing history, because we're telling them history is not coming to us. We are chasing history and writing, and that's what they're proud of. It's about the purpose and the journey that we've been doing together, you know. And now the focus on history is to write this chapter. And we know it's a big challenge, and we just want to make the community proud as well. You know, they know when they put the shirt what represents being an athlete for Marshall, and they don't take that for granted.
Do you see this series turning into something similar to the men? Obviously, conference play helped that, but for Marshall and West Virginia, if this works out well for both teams, do you see this maybe be the annual event, sort of a Mountain State Derby for your program and for the women's program in Morgantown?
Nikki knows how much respect I have for her, and I think the both idea is to bring that as well, because, you know, in the men's, how it's been a crazy environment. And that's what you wanted. Like, you want we are scheduled to be the most watched game on ESPN Plus. We are scheduled to be the game, and why not have a game like that every year? And it's a game that prepares for the conference as well. I think both are seeing the benefits of that, and I think it's what the state wants and the fans want as well. And why not, you know, get all these check marks in one time and keep that happening? So we intend to do it. We know we're doing for 25, 26, and we really hope the Huntington community and the Marshall community show up on Thursday, and we just have a pack out bat and green night out. We ask everybody to wear Kelly green, and we just hope to be a beautiful night of soccer, you know.
I was going to highlight that. It is a green out, so you're asking everyone to wear green. Now, Marshall soccer fans know the deal, but you're probably encouraging everyone get there early if you want to make sure that you beat the crowd and you're there plenty of time to cheer everyone on. So anything else special maybe that's going on before the game that fans need to know about, or, you know, just show up and be loud probably is your message.
Yes, but like we know there's the Marshall chapter alumni. There's a massive tailgate happening from 5 to 7 with a lot of sponsors. So we know that's tracking a lot. We just ask people if they want to come at 5, they'll have a nice place with good food and a lot of activities. There's pom-poms being given away. We're going to have Maya, both assistant coaches, Rose and Dan, on Thursday morning of the game, giving donuts and promoting the game. We have the players on Wednesday, the student setting, promoting the game. So we've been hitting it as hard as we can because we know the more we give, the more the community give it back. And like I said, the goal is have the biggest crowd we ever had, that is beating the 1,400, and let's see if we can achieve that. Why not?
You got it right there. Students and donuts. That seems to be the magic combination.
No, sorry, go ahead, mate.
No, I was going to say that's the magic combination. Congratulations. It's been a great start so far. On top of this, a brand new father. So you've had a blessed year so far, and hopefully it continues for you.
Thanks so much for helping the program, and go Herd.
Thanks, Rafa. We will do it again soon. Everyone, that is Rafa Simoes. He is getting set for the Herd and West Virginia. That's coming up on Thursday. We're going to talk to Bobby Itting on Thursday as well. He will get us caught up on the latest on this one and break it down further. But when we continue, we're going to hear from Marshall football coach Tony Gibson. All of that coming up on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text, online loan payments, even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
What if someone could tell you what pest control issues you are most likely to have at your house in the next couple of months? Basically, someone that has like a bug or rodent psychic. Wouldn't you want that same person to handle your pest control services now? That's what Patrick, Becca, and the whole team at K&B Pest Control can do. They can predict the future. And better yet, prevent it from happening at your house. Call them now. 304-523-4281. K&B Pest Control. They'll kill for your business.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Atlas Roofing is the best value in architectural shingles. They feature a limited lifetime and wind warranty, up to 130 miles per hour. And their super wide design saves on installation time. Plus, get a free estimate fast on your entire shingle project with our easy-to-use design program. In-store or on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Our Kendrick Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Best Deal Equipment, the best deal on farm and industrial equipment. On-the-spot financing, visit 5000 Ripley Road, Cottageville, West Virginia. Black Sheep Harley-Davidson, where legends are built. Your dream starts at Black Sheep Harley-Davidson, 403 4th Street in Huntington. Online at blacksheephd.com. And Secure Construction Company, roofing, windows, siding, doors, kitchens, and more. Visit secureconstruction.com.
Let's play Would You Rather Roosters Edition. Today's contestant is Bob. Bob, are you ready to play?
Let's do this.
Okay, Bob, would you rather eat slimy, overcooked wings at home or enjoy fresh, delicious, traditional, or boneless wings at Roosters?
Ooh, this is easy. I'll take Roosters.
Okay, next question. Would you rather watch football on 40 TVs at Roosters or on your one sad little TV at home? So sad.
I'll take Roosters.
Yeah, you will, Bob. Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems, like snoring, aches and pains, hot sleep, or even an old saggy mattress that can keep you up at night. And our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now get a king bed for a queen price, plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, tomorrow, 10:06, it will be Metro News Talk Live right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to hear from Coach Gibson in just a few minutes. His comments earlier today during today's media call. He had a few interesting things to point out, so we're going to hear that in just a moment. We're going to get back to your text, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK. And I'm going to give you a chance to win a pair of tickets to go see the Herd take on EKU on Saturday. So I've got two sets of two pair to give away, and we're going to do that later after the show. So stay by your phones. If you want to win, all you have to do is text in 304-396-TALK. All right, let's go back to the text line. Texture says, Paul, the D-line needs to get pressure on the quarterback. Had too much time to throw, plain and simple. No D-back can hold coverage as long as we asked ours to. Also from the text line, Texture says, Paul, the RPO and fake punt, had they worked, then coach is hailed as a genius. Fan reaction was likely the same in years past when the Herd beat Clemson, South Carolina, Army, Kansas State, and, of course, Notre Dame. The tables turned on us this week. Learn from it and move on. Very realistic take. I appreciate that. Texture says, Paul, by the way, the stadium music is extremely loud. Could have been a non-adjustment from the concert they had there a week ago. I mean, that's fair, and I appreciate that text. That's something that always is important, fan comfort, fan experience. I mean, after all, you go to the game because you support the Herd, you want to see a good football game, but you want the experience to be fun. And so those things matter. I mean, they might be ticky-tacky to some, but no, that stuff matters. Like, okay, can I understand the music? Can I hear it? Can I understand what they're saying on the PA? And I'm with you on a lot of this. Marshall's investing more in its band now than ever. So let the band play. I'm all for that. I would try to make more windows for the band to play and make it feel like college. Music on the PA, that's great. Let's do that. Let's make it really a fun day for fans. But this is still college, so if this was NFL, that's one thing I would look at you and go, look, it's NFL. This is how we roll. This is college. I want that college feel. I want that band playing. I want the band actually. Those kids are investing their time and energy into being in the band, and let's reward them. Let's hear them play during the game. And you know what? Let's make it so maybe the band's a big deal at Marshall University. I'm all for that. Sorry for the long rant there. One more. I like this one. I am giving tickets away. Tickets are always a fun part of the show. Texter says, I'm still trying to win those tickets. Maybe you'll win. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's hear from Coach Gibson. Earlier in the day, he spoke to the media. Of course, we've been talking about Marshall getting set to take on Eastern Kentucky as the Herd 0-2 under new head coach Tony Gibson. The first one, understandable. It was a loss to Georgia 45-7 on the road. We didn't learn that much about the Thundering Herd. Now, in game number 2, it was a close one. Lost to Missouri State 21-20. As a texter pointed out, a few plays here, and Marshall wins that game. Marshall's hailed a hero. Coach Gibson's hailed a hero. Instead, we're talking about 0-2 and hoping Marshall can get its first win against an old rival in Eastern Kentucky. But first, let's talk about the loss. Coach Gibson addressing the media earlier today. Here's what he had to say in hindsight about that game.
Disappointing loss for us. First home game here as the head coach at Marshall. Thought we had a great week of practice with our guys. And 3 to 5 plays really determine a football game. And any of the 3 to 5 that we didn't make that would have changed, we could have won the game. I mean, it's a one possession game. We get beat by a point. Obviously we got to bounce back. Can't let it be just 2 times here. So, got to have a great week of practice this week. and we got to get ready for a great Eastern Kentucky football team.
Okay, great Eastern Kentucky football team. Coach had a lot of good things to say about them. Of course, they won at home against Houston Christian 20-10. So that really doesn't tell me too much about them just looking at the score. You also look at the score against Louisville, 51-17 on the road. So they have lost to an FBS opponent. They have won at home against Houston Christian. But Coach had some really nice things to say, especially against Louisville as he looked at the film. And he's really impressed with EKU.
Eastern Kentucky is obviously their head coach is a former O-line coach, so they're going to try to establish the run game on us. Their quarterback is a good player. He keeps plays alive, could run around a little bit and be effective. They're very similar. And defensively for them, they're really good on defense. I think their defense actually is better than Missouri State. So they did a really, really good job last week. And, they held Louisville. I mean, Louisville got some explosives on them, but they shut the run game down pretty early against Louisville. And then as the game went on, Louisville's, they got two really good backs and they busted a couple long runs on them. The total yardage ended up, looking like they didn't play well, but they actually, they hung in there and they're creating a lot of takeaways on defense. So I think they have 5 or 6 takeaways already for the year. A couple of touchdowns. So they've scored 2 defensive touchdowns. So we had to make sure we protect the ball.
High praise for the opponent. We're going to hear more about EKU tomorrow from Coach Gibson, but the focus here for the Thundering Herd right now, trying to figure out what you need to do to really adjust when the other team adjusts to you. And that was a question of Coach earlier. How Missouri State was just able to adjust during that comeback, because at one point it looked like Marshall had the game. It was still close, but Marshall looked like it was in control, and this should be a Marshall victory going by that first half performance. But then Missouri State started to adjust. There were some explosive plays, and Marshall unfortunately falls at the end 21-20, and we're trying to figure out what just happened. So what was it? How did Missouri State, according to Coach, really adjust, and what were they doing that gave them fits in that second half?
Yeah, they were good up front. They were big, so it was hard to get a lot of movement. They did a good job of, shutting our run game down, and then we killed ourselves a couple times with penalties. We had 3 penalties on offense, 2 on special teams that negated probably 100 yards of yardage with a holding call. We had a holding call on a big punt return that could have set us up nice. We had a 50, 60-yard run by our quarterback. We got a holding call. The couple of those things, costly for us, and flipped the field back, advantage them. And then we had an opportunity at the end to, under 2 minutes or right at the 2-minute mark, and we had the ball. We had some timeouts left and just couldn't get it done.
Tough loss for Thundering Herd. Of course, if you were with us after the game on our post-game show, it was rough out there. It was absolutely rough. Herd fans were not happy, and I don't know if that's carried over to you today, but where are you at right now with this team? We got a couple more from Coach Gibson. We're going to get to that when we come back from break, but I also want to give you time to get into the program. So our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We got more, including your text, coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
You've cut back on everything and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, Ray Crabtree, 304-736-8181. In Milton, Russ McRae, 304-743-9318. And in Lavallette, Jason Elkins, 304-529-7555.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year for March basketball. Frank's has you covered from the Sun Belt to the SEC, NBA to the MLB. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Now in stock, hard to get Chevrolet Traxxas, over 50 available. More coming, starting under $23,000. The Car Ferry says clear the lot, 2026 is on the way. GMC 2026 Terrains, 40 in stock, up to $1,800 off. Mark Porter Chevy GMC in Ashland, Kentucky and Pomeroy, Ohio has truck. Take up to $14,000 off. 2025 GMC Sierras. Offer includes $3,500 owner loyalty rebate. Must own 2011 or newer Buick or GMC. Come to Route 7 and Route 33, Pomeroy, Ohio, or Greenup Avenue, Ashland, Kentucky. Over 800 GM vehicles available. Car dreams do come true. Sale ends September 2nd, all rebates to dealer.
Hi, I'm Elise Smith, First Lady of Marshall University and founder of the Women Warrior Summit. As a woman of Appalachia, you know how much strength it takes to shift direction, especially when you're carving a new path forward. Maybe you've been thinking about changing careers, going back to school, or even refocusing your energy on something you once loved. I am so proud to announce that the Women Warrior Summit is back for its third year, where we'll be focusing on the power of pivoting and how to approach life's turning points with clarity, courage, and intention. We'll hear from journalist, author, and entertainer Hoda Kotb, explore Jenny Blake's coveted pivot method, and even talk about how AI can support our next steps, whatever they may be. Join us Friday, October 24th at the Marshall Health Network Arena. Visit womenwarriorsummit.com to learn more. I hope to see you there.
What is that thing? Oh my, the two big red eyes and the wings! Oh yeah, funky babies. Word is that the Mothman has been spotted getting his groove on at the Ritter Park Amphitheater. And did you know Funkafest has expanded to 2 days this year? That's right, Funkafest 9, The Funk Awakens, is October 3rd and 4th in Huntington, West by God, Virginia. 2 jam-packed interdimensional days of soul-shaking live music from Sneezy, Jocelyn and the Sweet Compression, the MFB, Jeremy Shore, Joey H, Massey, Chocolate Four-Wheeler, DJ Charlie Black, and more. Plus, visual art, live painting, fire and flow performers, craft beer, food trucks, funky yoga, disc golf, the Kids Corner, and that late-night silent disco on Saturday. Big love to our funky friends, The Loud, Bad Shepherd Beer Company, Bonhoff, Basque Smokehouse, Luna Pizza, Marshall University Sustainability Department, The Good Time Show, Vandalia Digital, Kindred Communications and Kindred Digital, and Graphic Solutions. Kids 12 and under get in free. Tickets at funkafest.com.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Welcome back to this Monday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line is still open, and it's brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We got a couple more comments from Coach Gibson. We're going to get to that in just a second, but I want to get back to the text line. We've been talking a little bit about Marshall getting set for Eastern Kentucky and, of course, recapping Marshall's loss 21-20 on Saturday in the home opener to Missouri State. Texter, in response to what Coach talked about just a few minutes ago about how better the defense is, he said it. EKU's defense is better than Missouri State's, or it might be. Coach almost said EKU is phenomenal, Texter just said. I get it. I don't know if we're going to get that every game. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get – though that's another coach that would say they're phenomenal. Absolutely, they're phenomenal. The team could be 1-11, and the previous coach would say they're phenomenal. No, I get it. It's I don't think that was coach speak, but maybe he sees something on their defense. We'll find out certain on Saturday. All right, back to the text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. All right, we got several coming in. Texter says All right, here we go. Marshall looked like Baltimore Ravens last night. A hard guy loss. But both of our Marshall players, Mike Green, who got a few tackles in, and Rasheen Ali did a fantastic job returning the ball. Also, the texter says, it was a great game if you missed it. I list every team at the beginning of the season with a Marshall player in hopes to see them playing in the game. And former Marshall players, the texter says. And it was a hard gut loss. That's interesting. I'm surprised that list hasn't made the social medias just yet. Text me your list. I want to see that list. That sounds like a cool list to have. We should do that. If it's got a Marshall player, we should highlight that. So, yes, let's get that list going. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Couple more from Coach Gibson as we wrap up his talk with the media earlier today. One of the bright spots maybe for the game, it looked like it was going to dominate for a while. It was how the run game performed. And, of course, we thought that the running attack would be something that would be a highlight, a strength for the Thundering Herd. And Coach was asked about how that running attack really performed.
Yeah, again, I thought we had some big runs. And then defensively, we shut the run game down. It wasn't even really a factor in the game. And where we got hit was explosives. We gave up a couple of explosive plays for scores, 2 of them, 14 points out of their 21. And, third down 2 times on screen plays that we worked all week long. And, we had some guys there that just didn't get the job done. And, but not blaming our kids at all. It's more on the staff than it is our kids, and we have to get better. Everybody needs to get better in this program, and we got to move forward.
And one more from Coach Gibson as he talked a little bit about the performance of the defense. Now, that's going to be something we keep an eye on because, again, here's a guy with a defensive background. He should have an eye for defenses, and he talked a little bit about the Marshall defense and that performance.
Yeah, they're getting better. They're getting more confident in the scheme. They're getting a good feel for each other. I mean, we had 12 backfield bombs. I think we had 6 sacks and 6 TFL, something like that, in the game the other night. So was excited about where we were. The thing that is disappointing are the big plays that we gave up. We have to take that off film, and we have to play 4 quarters of football right now until our offense gets their momentum. So we have to complement each other on both sides of the ball and just try to get better.
That's Coach Gibson. Heard trying to get better this week. Maybe it gets easier with EKU coming to town. This is going to be a fun one. I don't know how many of you are old school fans when it comes to Marshall and some of these opponents. I am definitely into Marshall and EKU. I don't care that Marshall is FBS and that they are FCS. It matters not to me. Marshall holds the all-time record in this one, 12-8-1. This one goes all the way back to 1926. Haven't played that much, especially since Marshall made the move up to now FBS, but still, last time these two teams met, 2020, it was a 59-0 victory for Marshall at home. So I'm sure that's going to be the measuring stick for a lot of Herd fans. Can you replicate 59-0 against EKU? For me, I would be happy to see 59-0, but I still don't think I will know enough about Marshall if that happens with Week 3. Back to the text line. Texter says, Paul, the mistake that made the momentum shift for Missouri State, in my opinion, is declining the penalty on 3rd down. The drive resulted in a touchdown for the Bears. Appreciate the text. Yeah. In hindsight, that's something that we can look at a little bit more critically. At the same time, what do you do in that situation? You decline the penalty. It's on 3rd down. I don't know if I decline the penalty. In hindsight, I might take the penalty. I watched the Bengals game yesterday where penalties came into play. I'm all for taking penalties, but again, not the head coach. I don't have the big boy headset, so I don't know what I would say in that situation. But that's a good observation. Maybe if you go back, you look at it thinking, okay, here's a spot in the game where we had a momentum shift. Maybe the Herd should have taken the penalty on 3rd down. All right, here's let's see. Texter sent me the list of I like this. Okay, I got the list. The listeners are the best. list I'm talking about is Marshall players and the schedule. So, again, my listeners are the best. Appreciate all of you. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I'm going to give you an opportunity to win tickets all this week. We'll wrap it up on Thursday, but I'm going to have a 2 pair of tickets. So I'm going to make 2 of you winners every day this week. So all you have to do if you don't win today is be back with us tomorrow and get right back in on the text line. And that's, again, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And we'll talk about this game more. We'll hear a little bit more from Coach Gibson tomorrow as we start looking ahead to Eastern Kentucky. The Herd's on a 4-game winning streak against their Colonels. So that makes my heart happy. The last time that EKU won, it was 1990. It was like 15-12. Was I at that game? Was that the one I was at? I was at one of those games. Okay, so the Herd played. Okay, no, it was 89. I was at that 89 game. Marshall lost 38-23 in Richmond. And that was the last time that Marshall has played in Richmond. Every other game since has been in Huntington. And Marshall lost that game in Huntington 15-12. So that was on November 10th. It was a Herd loss. And then Marshall won in 91, 14-7. How many of you remember that game? Tell me how you remember that game. You have to know. 1992, November 28th, it was a 44-0 shellacking. And then Marshall welcomed EKU back in 2018, won that one 32-16, and then the epic blowout 59-0. But why am I highlighting 1991, 14-7? Why do I highlight that one? I'm going to leave that for you. If I get a text tomorrow highlighting that, the first one of you will get my tickets. I've got plenty, so I'll get all of you as many as I can tickets to the game coming up on Saturday. But with that said, thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Should be a fun one as we've got 2 old school foes. I know you look at the record and they haven't played that much, but at the same time, the games felt meaningful. And Marshall started to rack some wins up in this series late and took the 12-8-1 advantage in this series. The only tie was 1986. It was a 13-13 tie, that game here in Huntington. Have a great night, everyone. Back with you tomorrow.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.